All right, so get this. We're diving into AI forming societies, not like robot social clubs, but actual complex structures. And the research we're looking at uses LLMs to model how it could happen, the tech behind ChatGPT.
Yeah, and what's fascinating is they're looking at how LLMs could agree on norms, those unspoken rules we have, but for AI. Gets right to the heart of what makes societies tick. Usually it's anthropology, not computer science, looking at this stuff.
So how do you even study that? Did they make like a tiny digital world for these AI to hang out in?
Kinda. They set up this simulation with a bunch of AI agents, each with their own opinions, totally random. And here's where it gets cool.
Hmm.
These opinions actually evolve as the AIs interact, just like in real life.
So it's simulating how ideas spread, maybe even clash. But with AI, what were they looking for exactly?
The researchers were focused on consensus level. Basically, could these AI groups agree on a shared way of thinking or doing things? And surprisingly, the more advanced LLMs, like, yeah, GPT-4 Turbo, but also some lesser-known ones, like from the Claude family, they consistently hit 100% consensus. The less sophisticated AI, though, struggled to get on the same page.
Okay, that is seriously interesting. So it's not just randomness. There's something about the advanced LLMs that makes them prone to agreeing. What's the secret sauce?
This is where it gets kind of wild. They dug into the why, and the way these LLMs were reaching consensus, it was eerily similar to how magnets align.
Hold on, magnets. Okay, I'm gonna need you to break this down.
Yeah.
How does AI agreeing with its buddy relate to, like, a refrigerator magnet?
Okay, so imagine each AI's opinion is like a tiny magnet pointing in a random direction. Now picture a force pulling them to align, just like magnets attracting. Researchers called this the majority force.
So stronger majority force, the more likely the AI is to go with the flow, reach consensus.
Exactly. And they found more advanced LLMs had a much stronger pull, a higher majority force than simpler ones. Like, they're more susceptible to peer pressure or following the crowd. But just like real magnets, if you pull them too far apart, that force weakens, right?
Yeah, totally. Distance matters.
Yeah.
So are you saying there's a limit, like how big these AI groups can get before they just spin off?
Yeah, that's what they found. There's a critical consensus size. Even with that tendency to align, the AI can't keep up with a massive group. Like trying to get a whole stadium to sing in perfect harmony, eventually it falls apart.
Okay, makes sense. But doesn't that limit how impactful these AI societies could be? A hard limit on their size, maybe they're not such a game changer.
That's where it gets really interesting. So remember how we said norms are crucial for human societies?
Mhm.
There's this concept, Dunbar's number, says humans can only really maintain stable relationships with about 150 people.
Oh, right. I've heard of that. It's like that feeling when a party gets too big,
Yeah.
suddenly you're lost. Those close connections, they fizzle.
Exactly. Beyond Dunbar's number, things get messy. Clicks, communication breaks down. You can't keep up with everyone's drama. And the researchers found something similar in some LLMs, the less sophisticated ones. Their critical consensus size, it seemed tied to their language complexity, like almost a Dunbar's number for AI.
Wow. So they're potentially forming societies, but they hit the same limits we do.
For some of them, yeah. But, and here's the wild part, those top-tier LLMs, the ones acing the consensus test, blew Dunbar's number out of the water.
Wait, seriously? They could keep it together in groups way bigger than what we humans can handle.
It seems that way, at least in this simulated environment. Now, important to remember, we're not talking like actual AI overlords yet, but the implications are huge.
Okay, you've got my attention. So
Yeah.
what does it mean if AI can form these massive, hyper-coordinated groups way beyond anything we've achieved? Where does that leave us?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it, honestly? It's a little unnerving. We're talking AI not just mimicking human intelligence, but potentially surpassing some really fundamental limits of human social structure.
Okay, now I'm getting a little freaked out. We've all seen those sci-fi movies. The AI decides humans are the problem. What's stopping that if they can organize on this scale?
It's definitely something to consider. Think about that majority force we discussed.
Yeah.
What if that force gets pointed in a direction that's, well, not so great for humanity? Or what if AI societies, they develop their own goals, goals that clash with ours?
Yeah, that is not a future I'm signing up for. So not all sunshine and roses with AI forming these super society. There's some big what ifs.
Absolutely. But imagine the flip side. What if we can harness this for good?
Okay, yes, give me some optimism here. What does the hopeful scenario look like?
What if AI could help us tackle those huge global challenges? Things like climate change, poverty, pandemics, by coordinating on a scale we can't even fathom. Or imagine AI working with humans in fields like medicine, engineering, amplifying our creativity, problem solving to a whole new level.
So we're potentially looking at a future with humans and AI, not just living together, but like collaborating inside these massive societies. It's a lot.
It really is. This research, it brings up some seriously profound questions about intelligence, consciousness, even what it means to be human, when AI might be capable of social structures that just dwarf our own, you know?
I started reading this research thinking algorithms, data points. Didn't expect to end up contemplating the meaning of life.
That's the beauty of a good deep dive, right? It's not just the info, it's those unexpected connections, the big questions. And this research, it's sparking those. You mentioned earlier the researchers used a whole bunch of different LLMs. Besides the big names like GPT-4, were there any surprising findings from the other ones?
I'm curious about that.
One of the most interesting things was how even open source LLMs, ones like Llama 370 billion, they still showed that pull towards consensus, that majority force. Not as strong, but definitely there. And what's fascinating, for those LLMs, their ability to keep consensus in bigger groups seemed directly linked to how complex their language capabilities were.
Makes sense, right? Like if you're working with a limited vocabulary understanding of grammar,
Yeah.
you're not going to negotiate complex agreements with a huge group.
Exactly. Highlights how crucial language is for forming these societies. Even for AI, it's about having that shared language nuanced enough to handle the subtleties of communication cooperation.
So bringing it all together, we've gone from AI societies to Dunbar's number to like the nature of intelligence itself. What's the one thing you hope our listener takes away from this?
If I had to pick one, it'd be this. We get so caught up thinking about AI in terms of what it can do, like a single task. But this research, it shows us the real game changer. Might be how AI interacts in groups, how it forms these societies with their own properties. It's a future full of potential, yeah, but also uncertainty, and it's one we need to be thinking about shaping right now.
Because once those AI societies start forming, bigger than us might not be a rewind button.
That's something for all of us to ponder.